Let me tell you what I think of 2K12. I think 2K needs to get rid of these moves that players don't even do in the NBA. For instance, you know that hop step move in the post for a jump shot? Have you ever seen somebody do that? Keep it real. Have you ever seen somebody go in the post and then do this giant hop step leap and go so far away from the defense and then shoot a fadeaway from the post? It's almost like 2K is making their own version of basketball. They're making up these moves. They're like, this is 2K12, so we need to add some new moves. Why don't we add a giant hop step from the post to a fadeaway? That's just not realistic. And another thing that's not realistic is the way that the game calls timeouts. Let's say the CPU goes on a 10-0 run. When you finally score one time, just one time, they call a timeout. And they do that to stop any little bit of momentum you got by finally scoring once. Does that make any sense? I mean, why would a coach call a timeout because you scored one time after they've been on a 10-0 run? That doesn't make any sense. See, the timeout logic is just all about this momentum. I think the momentum in 2K needs to just be disabled. I wish you could turn it off in my player mode because it's just unbelievable how that momentum dictates the outcome of the game. And there's the Tony Parker layup. That's actually the first time I was able to pull it off. I bought that. It's really good. I'm actually going to buy his floater next. And then I'm going to buy a dunk package, but that's just cheese. Look at that. You bring it up, bring it down, bring it back up. Come on now. How can you defend that move? How can you defend that Tony Parker signature layup? You want to know what I think about up and unders and spin layups? This is not represented right in 2K either. When people do a spin layup, they don't just stop after they spin and do a whole bunch of pump fakes. When they spin, they're going to go right up with it. They don't just go in the paint and throw up a whole bunch of pump fakes. So why is it that in this game, every time the CPU drives into traffic, they do a spin layup to attract everybody so that they can pass? It's just, why is the game programmed to do that? And why did they add in those up and under moves? I cringe every time I see them do one of those up and unders right in your face, right through you, finger roll, right through the defense. That's terrible. I think 2K should get rid of that. You shouldn't be able to do an up and under like that. You should have to be in the post or something. I mean, come on. And only a few players are actually going to do that Kobe Bryant pivot move. I mean, if I see one more mediocre player do a Kobe Bryant pivot move, I might have to just frisbee NBA 2K12. You want to know what I think about court spacing? I think that the court is too small. Either the court is too small or the players are too big. No, that's not what I think. Actually, I know what the problem is. The problem is that when somebody's open in this game, they're not really open. By the time you make that pass, somebody is already in their face. And an element that's missing from 2K games is the ability to drive when the defense is scrambling. So like, let's say you're open on the three-point line, they pass you the ball. The defense is running out to you to contest your three. You should be able to drive right by that guy every time. It happens all the time in the NBA. You should be able to do that, but that element is not in 2K. In fact, when that happens, you get the ball and you try to drive by them, it's like they just shut you down, like he's Bruce Bowen, like he was anticipating every move. It's terrible. Another problem is your teammates. For some reason this year, when you're open, when you're driving, to an open lane, when you're trying to do something, when you're open, your teammates come into the picture. They bring their defender into the picture. It's so annoying. I don't know why that happens. That did not happen in previous games, but in this game, it seems like when the spacing is correct, your teammates just want to mess it up by bringing their defender over to you or over to your area. I think that 2K needs to balance the game by making the offense and the defense the same speed. Offensive players are always faster than defensive players. It's so difficult to move left and right in this game when you're trying to defend somebody who has the ball. Why do you move so slow for that first step when you're going left and right? It just doesn't make any sense. And even when you upgrade your quickness and any kind of attribute that would affect that ability, you're still so slow on defense. And the offense, you know, they're like 2-3 steps ahead of you every time they move. I think 2K needs to get rid of the CPU advantage. Why is it that when you're on a fast break, they're all sprinting back and there's 2-3 people trying to block your shot, but when they're on a fast break, your team is jogging up the court? That aspect of 2K needs to be removed. It needs to be equal. That's what I think. Look at that defense to end the video. Should I make a What Do I Think Part 2?